Okay, so welcome everybody. Tonight we are going to be going through the director and the executive leadership pools and how to get paid in those. And if you have any questions, please feel free to, because this is a webinar and not a regular Zoom, please feel free to type questions into the chat and we can see them that way. But really, I want to talk about first the importance of these. Now, there's some big money on the table. In the director pools, you can make up to $2,500 a month for 3 months. So, you know, $7,500. And in the executive pools, you can make up to $5,000 for 6 months. So that's another $30,000. So all told, $37,500. So there's a lot of money in these pools, but in earning that money, sometimes it pays to be a little bit strategic. So I'm going to walk you through really quickly how those pools work. So hold on one second. I'm going to share the screen here. Okay, so first I'm going to show you where you can find information on how, on these pools. So first, if you go into your back office and you click under contests and promotions, okay, and you go down to, now the director pools, you could go view details, okay, and it is going to show you. It's going to go through all the information, the rules, everything. Now, I'm going to give you a real quick synopsis of this, but if you really want all the details, that's where you're going to find it, okay? Or you could look in the executive pools, and here's the flyer for the executive pools, and again, it walks you through all of the information, okay? So that's the first place that you want to look, is under contests and promotions. So hold on one second. Sorry guys, I'm just getting back to where we need to be. Okay, so the second place that when you're getting ready to participate in these pools that you're really going to look is if you go to View My Team, okay, and you scroll down. This is my sister's account, and you go down here under My Downline Activity and look under the 1-star pool details. Okay, so that's really going to show you. And I'm going to show you this. My sister's not participating in these pools, but I just wanted to show you kind of what this report looks like. And I'm going to walk you through it. I've created one that really looks like somebody who is participating in these pools. So those are the 2 places in your back office where you're going to go. So now let's look at how these pools really work. So what they do is they're paying you on growth in your team. So as you grow your team, you get paid on the amount of growth. So if you look at, they look back 4 weeks. So sorry about that. They look back 4 weeks. So in the report, you'll see weeks 1 through 4, week ending, and what your personal cycles were for those 4 weeks. Then what they do is they give a benchmark. So they're going to add them all up. They're going to divide it by the number of weeks, 4 weeks, and you're going to get a benchmark. So in this case, the benchmark is 3. Then it's based on your growth over that benchmark. So starting each month, now it's not on a monthly basis. It goes 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. 4 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So it'll go for the month of October. It started the 2nd, week ending the 2nd. So it actually started in September, and it'll end the 23rd. So it'll end actually this Sunday. So it takes your personal cycles here and minus the benchmark, and then you get your net growth. Okay? So your net growth is, in this case, this week it's 2, this week it's -1, this week it's 3, this week it's 7. So it adds it all up, and that is your shares, or that's actually your net growth. Then it looks at the number of weeks you're qualified. Now, to be qualified in the director pools, you need to be a paid as director every day of the week. In a given week, every day of the week that you are a paid as director, you are qualified for that week. In the executive pools, every week that you are a paid as executive, you are qualified, okay? But it has to be every day. You can't fall off one day and then get back on. You have to be paid as every day of the week. So in the 1-star pools, so they call it the 1-star pools, but because that's what it used to be. So in this instance, this person, this fictional person that I put together here, was an executive for these 3 weeks. They fell off this week, so they don't qualify this week, and then they got back there for this week. So you can see they qualified 3 out of the 4 weeks. So then what they do is they take the personal monthly net cycle, the shares that you have, they divide it by the number of weeks in the months, and they multiply it times the number of weeks you're qualified. So in this case, you would get 8.3 shares. Now they always round up, so you would actually get 9 shares in this case. Now, here's where you really want to be a paid as director if you're participating in the director pools, or an executive every single week. Because in this case, you get 8 shares, which in the executive pools would be up to $1,000. But if you had been a paid as executive all of the weeks, you would have 11 shares, and you would be earning, you could make up to $5,000. Okay, make sense? So essentially, it's based on your growth. So when you start participating in these pools, what you really want to do is you want to have big growth. I've had people make $5,000 a month. In the executive pools, I've had lots of people make $5,000 a month. I've had people make $2,300, $2,400 in the director pools. So here's what they do, and the share value. Okay, so let's go over here, and here's what you can make in the director pools. If you get 2 to 5 shares, you can make up to $500. 6 to 10 shares is up to $1,000, and 11 or more shares is up to $2,500. And in the director pools, you can participate for 3 months, 3 consecutive months. So for the first time you participate, you get into those pools. Not the first time you're a director, but the first time you're actually paid in the director pools. You have 3 consecutive months. So if you got paid in June, you would have June, July, and August that you could participate, and that's it. If you didn't qualify in July, you don't get you don't get August and September then. It's 3 consecutive months from the first month you participate. So once you start getting paid in these pools, you really want to continue, because in the director and executive pools, it's time bound. In the executive pools, you have 6 months from the first time you participate. And in order to participate, here's all you need. You need to be, let's talk about, it's the same for the director and executive, but you need to be a paid as director in the director pools, or a paid as executive in the executive pools. Let's just use the example of the executive pools. You need to be a paid as executive at least 1 week of the month, of the qualifying month. And you need to grow your personal shares by at least 2. Okay? And if you do that, then you qualify to be paid. And depending on your shares, again, you can make, up to 500, 1,000, 2,500, and in the executive 500, 1,000, and 5,000. So I've put together this little spreadsheet. Now, you guys who have been following some of my trainings have seen this spreadsheet before, but this is somebody who's, say they're going for the executive pool, okay? And their goal is to get to 10, well, let's say their goal is to get to 6, okay? So first off, we figure out what your bench is. Now, we saw where you could see your bench, right? You could see your bench by just going into the leadership pool, seeing your bench here. Now, your bench in this one is 0, okay? And you put your bench in here. And then you figure out how many cycles you need. Ultimately, you want to shoot for 11 or more shares. So in this case, you could do 5, 6, 6, 6. So you need a total of 23 cycles for that month. Okay? And minus your benchmark of 12 is your shares is 11. Make sense? So in this case, our goal cycle is 6. We put in our current cycle, maybe our current cycle is 3, and it calculates on our left side. Now, this is assuming your left is your bigger side. If it's not, you can reverse them. You could put 300 here, and you could put 600 here. Now, here's the thing. Once you're participating in these pools, if you don't understand these spreadsheets, I will help. I will help set this up and walk you through it the first time. But I've tried to make it easy so that this can duplicate down. And it's going to tell you how much BV you have. Then you can look and see what auto ships are coming in. And where do you find that? Well, again, we go back to our back office, right? And we go to Team, View Downline Reports. And within the downline reports, we view business blueprint by category, okay? And that takes a little bit of time to come up. But as it comes up, the last page of that is going to show you what auto ships are coming in for the rest of the week and what auto ships are coming in next week. So you can actually do this, a week ahead of time. You can look and see where you're going to be and what you need to have coming in. Okay? Again, this always takes a little bit of time to come up. Hold on. Okay, so while this is coming up, we're going to go back and we put the auto ships in. And then the remaining, where we see that, oh, here's the auto ship. So business blueprint by category. You scroll down to the very bottom and you see your auto ships, and it'll tell you left and right. And it'll show you how much is coming in. You look at the BV total. That's what you're looking for. Now the BV remaining, if you go to View My Team and you go to, how much is remaining on the left, close to 3 million here, and on the right, 47. That is your remaining. Okay. So you put those in, and it's going to tell you how much you need on the left and how much on the right. And then you put in your possibles. What might be coming in? And it'll tell you on here on the left, we have more than we need, and on the right, we need a little bit more. You see? So this is where you can track where you are. But this is where you're going to really track how many cycles you're going to need for the month. And this is where you set the goal and you shoot for it. And really, you want to shoot for 11 shares. Now, I'm going to take you off screen share for a second so you can see me a little bit bigger. The key with this, really the key with this is you want to participate every day of the month, because remember, if you say you don't participate one of the weeks out of the 4, you only get 75% of the shares. If you participate 2 out of the 4, you get 50% of the shares. And if you participate 1 out of the 4, you get 25% of the shares. So to really maximize this, you want to participate every day. And to do that, you need to stay at either a paid as director or paid as executive level. Okay? And then it's all about personal cycle growth. So in knowing that, you really want to know the dates, because so right now we are getting ready. We're finishing up the October leadership pools this month. Sunday finishes up the October. The November ones actually start October 24th and they run through November 20th. It's 4 weeks. These dates are in those flyers that I showed you in the contests. So you can find these dates, but if you want to just jot them down, the next pools are October 24th to November 20th. The ones after that, it's a 5-week month, and it's November 21st to December 25th, 5 weeks, and then we go back to a 4-week, December 26th to January 22nd. If you're shooting for executive, or if you're shooting for director, oftentimes I say, go for the Monday of the start of a leadership pool. Because then the way Isagenix works, it works just like a bank. Everything calculates at the end of the day. So if you are paid as director by the end of the day, Monday, 9 p.m. Pacific time, midnight Eastern on Monday, it counts for Monday. So you want to keep those dates in mind. I have them marked on my calendar. And so when I have people running for director or executive, that maybe they say, like I have some people who say, I want to hit it the first of the month, or I want to hit it, the end of the month. And maybe if they just shift it by a week, they can participate more weeks in those pools. I mean, it can make a big difference. So knowing those dates, okay? Know what your cycles are. Use this form again. Know exactly what you need to hit. You can't hit a target that you don't know, right? So you got to know what you got to hit. If your bench is 3, you got to hit 23 cycles for those 4 weeks. Now it could be, as you're going through this, maybe that first week you only hit 3. Well, we got to adjust it a little bit, right? We have to adjust it. And so maybe you need to hit 7 then, or, so just so you get to 11. Now, what if one of the weeks you didn't get to participate, right? One of the weeks you fell off. Well, then you'd actually have to multiply this times 75%. Okay? And you can do that. And again, as people get to these levels, I will help. I'm happy to help. We don't have that many people participating in these pools. But if you plan, and if you really go after this, and that last day, November 20th, don't plan on going, plan on working that Sunday, because you're gonna have to make up the cycles to get the most shares that you can. Now, hitting 11 shares in, say, the executive pools doesn't mean you're going to make $5,000. The share value in the director pools, they take $75,000. They take each month. They take the total number of people who participate, the total number of shares that they receive that actually get shares, and they divide that 75,000 and you get a share value. So I called in to find out what the share value was last month. They didn't tell me. They couldn't. This person I was speaking with, commissions was gone, so he couldn't find it. But I will have those numbers. But I know we had somebody who hit 18 shares in the director pool a few months back and got $2,300. So it isn't that you get 11 shares and you're going to make $2,500, but you want to get as many as you can. So again, it pays to really push really hard during these pools, because you could actually get paid a lot more in the pools than you would for the cycles. The other thing is know the dates of the pools, participate in that. And really then the last thing, and then I'm going to go into the chat and open it up for questions. The last thing is as you build a team, you want to find out, you want to let people know about these pools. Sometimes people just luck into them. And I've had people do that, but they've made maybe $1,000 where they could have made $5,000. I actually had one person who was going to fall off executive because one of her consultants pushed out their auto ship. One of the people under one of her consultants pushed out her auto ship by 3 days past the grace period. And I said, look, you got it. You want to be on top of this. You want to let her know. And if you need to, maybe you place an order because it could be worth a lot more to you. And she didn't think that it was all that important. And she fell off executive for actually 1 day. She just fell off executive 1 day on a Wednesday. She got back there on Thursday. But because of that, she got 75% of her shares instead of 100%. And instead of getting 11 shares, she got 8 shares. And she made $1,000 instead of $5,000. That 1 day cost her $4,000. So just being mindful of it can really make a big difference. But here's the thing. Here's how you grow a team. And this is what's so exciting. As you have people who are getting to this level, imagine you have 2 people that get to this level and they're trying to grow by 11, their personal cycles by 11 over the previous month, a total of 11. So, essentially about 2.7 a week, okay? That means that if you have 2 people growing by 11 cycles, you're growing probably by 22 cycles. Your cycles are growing by 22 cycles over the previous month. And if they're doing that for 3 months in a row or 6 months in a row, that is absolutely huge. That's how I got to a 6-figure income. Is Lindsay and Elliot started participating in the executive pools, and they were pushing really hard to get paid the maximum amount that they could in those pools. And so they were working really hard. They were growing by 11 each month, and boom, my income really went up. So if you can find, you get there, you create the story first because it's almost impossible to ask somebody to do something that you did not do, okay? But once you've done it, or imagine you do it and you're in the executive pools and then you get some people into the director pools. Again, it's about growth. If they grow, you grow. So as a leader, I assume everybody that is on this call is a leader or wants to be a leader. As a leader, it is your job to let people know that these pools are available to them, that there is big money in these pools, and to help them maximize it. And if you can do that, you can grow your team like nobody's business. I mean, really, it can grow so fast. And the other thing that I will say, and is a lot of times as somebody is going for, say, executive, or they're going for director, and they've got a team leg, and they don't want to necessarily put all the, they don't want to enroll down the team leg because they got lots of bank on that team leg. And so they're enrolling everybody on their personal leg, their inside leg, to get more cycles. Then what happens is once they start, once they're in the director pools, they're having to put people on the team, and they've got 5 consultants on the team leg, on their inside leg, because they've been building that leg, and they've got 1 on the team leg. Now, as they're going for once they hit director, they have to create consultants on the leg that's not going to help them cycle. And so what happens is then they don't grow as fast. They're getting to executive, but they're not growing their cycles because they're enrolling down the big leg. This is only for people who have 1 really heavy leg. So what a lot of people, I know that the Cepedas do this. They say you create 5 consultants on your team leg before you start working on your inside leg. That's then you can just focus on the inside leg. You create you create the 1 consultant on the inside leg, get you to director, and then as you create the 4 more, your cycles go through the roof because all your enrollments are happening there. And you can make, $7,500 in those director pools. And same with the executive pools. You can really focus. Sometimes people chase cycles early, and if you're really building this for the long haul, you want to really think, what's going to create that growth when I get into these pools. Even the 2-star pools, which we will be going over next week. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. And the big thing is, I just urge you, go into your back office, go under contests and promotions, look at these flyers, really understand. If you have other questions, please feel free to contact me. I'm happy to walk anybody through these. These are a big deal, and you can make pretty significant money in them. But it's more than that, it's getting your team participating. Imagine if you had 10 people participating. 10 people who are growing their cycles by 11 or more over the previous month. Do you see? This is how people get to, they max out a center in 2 years, or they get to millionaire in less than 2 years, is because they have people who are really running with this. So with that, I'm just going to open it up. If you have any questions, please feel free to go into chat and type those questions. Just let me know. Anybody? If not, I will. Okay, I guess we have no questions. It was pretty self-explanatory then, hopefully. Okay, Kathy, is the executive pools only for 3 months? Okay, yes, and Cynthia, I am recording it. The director pools is for 3 months, and the executive pool is for 6 months. So you can participate in the director pool for 3 consecutive months. So again, if you say you started in September, you could do September, October, November. And then you don't get to participate. If you hit September but you don't hit October, November, then you don't want to, you're not gonna, it doesn't matter. 3 consecutive months. And executive is 6 consecutive months. Now, if you're in the director pool and you get to executive, you don't get to participate in the director pool again. Once you hit executive, you do not get to participate in the director pool, even if you're still within that 3 months. The other thing is, and this is a big one, a lot of times people will chase executive. You know, they'll go for executive, and they're really going really, really hard to hit executive. And maybe they have a lot of extra orders, and they, you know, maybe they place some extra orders to get to executive. Don't do that, because you want to be able to maintain it. There's $30,000 in the executive pools, but only if you maintain executive. If you participate that first month and then you don't participate, you fall off executive and you don't participate again, you've lost out on a lot of money. So you really want to get to executive and stay executive. And so, Cynthia, you're saying, so strategy is to hold off executive and really build director. If you've not participated in the director pools, you build to director, you keep going to build to executive. You don't stop. I mean, you never, never, never slow yourself down, because there's a lot of money in other ways for being at executive, but you don't artificially create executive to hit the title or to hit the $1,000 and not be able to maintain it. So now, truth be told, everybody, when you hit it the first time, it's a little shaky, because it just means that you have 10 people who have 2. And if one of those people falls off, you know, so what you really want to do is you get to director, and then you go like crazy to build to executive. And then as soon as you hit executive, you do not take your foot off the gas. You build more consultants. You want backup consultants. You want to get to executive, and you want to stay at executive. And I'll tell you, you may fall off. You know, I fell off. A lot of people fall off. But the strategy is get there, stay there, and maximize those pools. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Well, this is being recorded, and I will post it. Hopefully it made sense to everybody. Awesome. Okay, thanks everybody, and have a great night. Bye.